Hello. Welcome, good people of YouTube. This is Iman speaking from AlphaPicks. I hope everyone's well. This is my first ever video on this channel, and I'm actually quite excited. I don't know what to expect from this entire journey. I put together this channel because my whole idea here is first and foremost not to sell you a course. I'm not here for that. Basically, investing in stocks has been one of my passions. I've been doing this for quite some time. And I've been participating in a lot of different forums. I've been following a lot of YouTube channels. There's some good information here. There's some bad information there. But what I tend to see is that a lot of the same questions are being asked. A lot of the same, stocks are being followed without people actually doing their due diligence. And personally, I analyze about 100 stocks at a minimum each and every month. And what I'm trying to do here on this channel is present the stocks I'm actually buying and give you my reasons for buying the stocks. And of course, you have to conduct your own research. I don't ever recommend for people to go ahead and blindly buy a particular stock. Case in point, everyone was buying ChargePoint during the COVID era. You had all these YouTubers saying ChargePoint's going to fly to the moon. I kept hearing it. And then what happened to ChargePoint? Bow. So, this is what we're trying to avoid. We want to pick the stocks, not based on emotion, not based on FOMO or fad or any of that stuff, just solid logic. And obviously making sure that, the stocks that we're picking have the highest probability of success. So just a bit about me. Again, I've been doing this for about 5 years. I've only started being quite profitable from the last 3 years because I stopped listening to a lot of these YouTube channels. And that's when I actually found my success. And my biggest, goal here is to provide as much value as possible. I want you guys to participate in the comment section. Let me know if you have any questions, any feedback, any stocks that you recommend, and obviously your thoughts on the stock that I'm actually recommending. So you can see right here a bit of a, social proofing. I've had a over 260% increase in ROI as a result of investing in the last 2 years. And just to go and show you my performance, here, this is me. Versus the S&P 500, where people actually say it's, just keep investing, put your money into the S&P 500, it'll keep going up. But you can see I have actually outperformed the S&P 500. And this is a direct result of the constant learning, the constant education, the money, and, I pour into education, into, a few failed attempts at purchasing stocks that a lot of these respected YouTubers, no disrespect to them, but some of them have not done proper due diligence. They haven't gone deep enough, and they've succumbed to the whole FOMO that everyone seems to be losing their shirt on. We always say this is a very important saying. I never forget it. Wealth is a transfer of money from impatient to the patient. And I've actually lived by that philosophy for a long time now. I've been very patient. I've taken time to educate myself on the stocks I'm purchasing, and the results in the pudding, as you can see. Now, let's talk about the very first stock that I am currently looking at, and I basically will be purchasing, a nice portion of this particular stock, and it is this one here, Sanofi, and the ticker symbol is SNY. So a bit about this company. Sanofi SA is a French multinational pharmaceutical and healthcare company headquartered in Paris. I like to joke around sometimes. The corporation was established in 1973 and merged with this particular company in 1999. And there you go. So there you have it. There's a bit of a overview about the company. And now let's talk about why I'm considering purchasing this particular stock. So this is a screen grab from TipRanks, one of the tools that I use. And these are the different tools, by the way, that I use when conducting my analysis and knowing what to buy and the price target. So TipRanks is saying this is a moderate buy. You've got a few holds and a few buys. However, the forecast for the next 12 months is that this stock will go up from its current price of $49.48 to over $60. That's a nearly 22% upside. So I like these numbers. All right. Now let's talk about the important metrics that I look at. And guys, I recommend you to do your own education on what these are. I'll be talking about the PE ratios and the PEG ratios and so forth. Now, one of the most important things that I look at is this particular here, the trailing PE ratio. And what we can see is that the trailing PE ratio is 16.29. it is beating the sector median. So this is actually a very promising sign. It's below what the other competitors have. There's that. Now, this is the important part I look at. The forward PE needs to be always lower than the trailing PE. That's a very important item that I look at, because what this means is that analysts are estimating this company to be earning more in the future. And the PEG ratio, the trailing PEG ratio, I should say, the same thing is 0.22. This is excellent. Anything below a 1 tells me that the stock is very likely undervalued. And it's much lower than the sector median. The forward PEG ratio is higher, so this is exactly what I'm looking for. These are the numbers that just make me very happy. You can see that Wall Street has given a buy rating. Let's go to Wall Street and see what Wall Street is saying. So the Wall Street has given this an upside of 25.65%. So this is actually not too shabby. And yeah, so far the numbers are very promising. Let's go to the next screen here. Now, guys, this particular tool is called Stock Unlock. If there's a tool that I recommend, it's going to save you a lot of time, a lot of effort and headaches in terms of going through and analyzing the bars and the charts, and ain't nobody got time for that, as we say. This is the particular tool that I use, and I actually do have a link in the bio in my description, so please feel free to use that if you ever consider utilizing this tool. Now, the area that I look at is called Insights. If you scroll down where it says Growth, I'll show you exactly what I'm looking at. So first things first, revenue increasing. This is very good. It's moved up by 34% over the last 12 months. Very, very good. Operating cash flow is increasing. Very good once again. Free cash flow increasing. This is quite important. This is massive. And not surprisingly, it's very good. Last but not least, net income increasing. Another important metric that I look at. This is solid. Great stuff. One of the other items I look at is return on invested capital, or ROIC for short, and this is good. So everything's heading in the right direction. And for those who don't know what this is, let me read it. Return on invested capital, ROIC, is also known as return on capital. This is one of the most important metrics investors take a look at when they're analyzing a company and its ability to generate returns for shareholders. ROIC shows investors how much profits a company invested capital generates. It essentially shows them if the company is investing money wisely and getting solid returns from it. So there you go. I like to see this a minimum of good. If it's average, I don't even bother. I just lose interest in the stock. Okay. So this particular, and I forgot to mention one particular strength of this Stock Unlock tool is that you can generate an AI stock report, which I always do before I purchase a stock, because I want to make sure I'm making the right decision for this particular stock. All right. So one of the last things that I look at, let's have a look here. Not sure what this is. Give me a second, guys. Let me try again. All right. So the screen decided to freeze itself. Let me just pause this and try to fix this, because I think this particular website has some issues. All right, guys, sorry about that. Bit of a technical hiccup. Now, I don't make the sexiest videos, but obviously I want to make sure I create the most informative videos. So one of the last checks that I do, and this is quite important, is I go to tradingview.com and then /chart. I go ahead and do a search right here on the top left for LLY. This was the previous stock I was looking at, but let's just do for SNY. Now, on the right-hand side here, as you're scrolling down, there is a section that says more financials. One of the most important things that I look at is the balance sheet. And in the balance sheet, the most important item is this one here, the total assets. I look at how much it is, and then I do it. So where we see total liabilities, I like to add total liabilities, which is $64 billion, give or take, with total debt, which is $26 billion. Add this to this. I ensure that the number is lesser than 146 billion. Okay. If the total debt and liabilities are higher than the total assets, I stay away from that company, or I just I'm super careful about investing with that particular company, because it could be because, the company's not generating as much revenue. The company is burning through its cash. The company's not, it's all in all sorts of trouble. And in the stock market, you do not want to be falling in love with any stock. Just because somebody is recommending that stock doesn't mean that you have to jump in blindly and purchase it out of fear of missing out. This is how I've been able to stay very profitable in the worst of times in the stock market, in very difficult times where people, their hair has been catching fire and running in circles. So yeah, this is essentially what the video is about, my very first stock pick. So please let me know if you have any feedback or any questions. I love hearing them. Any recommendations on another stock you'd like me to analyze, maybe a couple of stocks we can look at. And yeah, the style of video, I'd love to hear your feedback or suggestions on the style of video. This is my very first video, as I said, on YouTube. And my aim is to grow this channel into something very helpful, very useful, that we all making money. We're crushing the stock market. We're beating the returns, year in and year out. And of course, providing value as much as possible. Thanks so much for your time. Looking forward to hearing your comments. And as always, let's make some money together. Take care. Bye-bye for now.